Now, I remember back in the day when I interviewed you on my Fighting Words show, you had already retired, and we were talking about your new school. You know,
do you wear lifts anymore?
No,
ever since you left Fox? No,
I don't. No, no more lifts.
You should be proud. I am proud of being 5'6".
You know why I wore lifts?
I'm 5'6.5". I don't even mention.
You know why I wore lifts, right? Because I would do red carpet interviews. And all those celebrities are so freaking tall that I'd be like this. So I just wore lifts.
I could see that.
That's the only reason why I had lifts that day. I was doing a red carpet event that night. Anyway.
Well, that's the only time. That's
that's
the only time I saw you wearing lifts.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't wear them.
Agree to disagree. I could have swore you had those things on more than once. But listen.
Well, I could very well have been doing a red carpet event, you know, in Vegas when I saw you too.
Ooh, you're so fancy with your red carpet events.
Well, you know. Welcome to MMA Noise. I'm Mike Straka, your host, along with Matthew the Terra Serra, former welterweight UFC champion of the world, and the co-host, I should say, of Lookin for a Fight, which one of my favorite shows and one of my favorite Dana White productions. And you know, Dana's got plenty of productions, but this one, I love Nick the Tooth. I love your energy. I love the chemistry between you three guys. You guys seem like you have a fucking lot of fun on that show.
It's first of all, good to see you.
Good to see you.
Haven't seen you in a while. Dana White Looking for a Fight on YouTube or UFC Fight Pass. What a good time. That's a good gig. That fell on my lap.
Wait, hold on. Let me.
You want to set the premise?
It did not fall on your lap. I mean, you've been
fell,
one of the best personalities in all of MMA since I started interviewing back in 2001 in Atlantic City. I remember. Well, it was a bad night for you that night. See, I always bring up the bad nights.
Terrible.
But that was my first event that I ever covered.
Listen, it's my luck that most fighters like talking to that fucking radiator. But back to Dana White Looking for a Fight, man. Yeah, we go to these smaller MMA events all around the country looking for upcoming talent, and it's with Dana. I get along. I know the guy forever, so I get along with the guy great. Tooth knew him since high school. Tooth's a wacky guy.
I love when he tests his jiu-jitsu against you.
Oh yeah, that was a great episode, the Alaskan episode. But it's a good time, man. We drink some Bud Lights. I'm already mentioning sponsors, and I get some free Reebok shirts, and we go on the road. We watch some fights, and we get into some hijinks. It's a good time. It's so funny, man. One of the camera guys, this guy Charlie, good dude. He looks like you. I swear he looks like you. He's buff.
I don't want to know this.
He's around our height. And I started calling him Straka before I knew his name. Now, Dana, everybody calls him Straka. And I started calling him Charlie. He goes, I'm Straka. I go, all right. So now we got Straka with us. Even though you're not with us, you're with us.
That's great.
So I'll show you a picture of the guy.
No wonder why when I went to the press conference and, Dana's looking for questions, he goes, all right, Mike, now I know why I'm on top of it.
No, you're in his, no, for sure. When I pointed it out, Dana was like, oh my God, it's Straka. I'm like, look at him. I didn't know he knew how to work a camera. The camera guy.
Look how the mighty have fallen. Didn't he used to host a show? Now he's behind the camera.
Behind there. Look, he's going to be doing directing next. But it's funny, man. So it's like you're out there with us.
When did you ever think though you would be ice fishing or whitewater rafting and the things that you're doing on the show, skiing and such great stuff?
I told the guys after a few episodes, I go, they should call this shit midlife crisis because this is just three guys in their 40s doing things where, I was lead singer a night for a song in a death metal band.
Yeah, that was in Utah, right?
That was in Minnesota.
That was crazy.
The next one, we do some bull riding, which is in Texas, which was wild. That's going to be out soon. Wow, that was insane.
Did you do bull? You rode a bull?
I rode a bull, man. I got something on my phone. I'll show you after.
It's so funny.
That should be out soon. That should be out.
When you guys went to Philadelphia, you had cheesesteaks. That was
so good.
We did that with Burt Watson. It was freaking awesome. He had such a great. I love Burt.
With whiz or real cheese? I go for real cheese.
No, what a good time, man. I can't complain. It's like I said, it's a great post-fight gig, and between that. I got like yourself, I have daughters, and I got my 3 kids, I got my 2 schools, my stable of fighters. And
you're busy.
I'm pretty busy, but all fun stuff.
Yeah, and I remember, back in the day, I remember pitching a show with me and you and Renzo Gracie to MSG, and they always told me when MMA is legalized in New York, come back, and it just got legalized. So. But you're too busy now. You're too expensive.
And that ship has sailed.
Yeah, or you're too expensive.
Hey, listen. You know, I mean, I don't know. Go back and pitch that thing. See how it works out.
Absolutely, and and the thing about the show that you do with Dana White is, like I said, you discovered 3 fighters already.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, the last guy lost. The heavyweight.
Cody East. Yeah. It's rough. It's rough sometimes when we see the heavyweights because, first of all, the heavyweights are hard to find anyway, and sometimes when we look at these fights, like it's hard to tell because he might destroy somebody, but like Cody East, he destroyed the guy we saw, but if you look at the guy he fought, he really didn't belong in there.
Right.
So it's like, all right, are we taking a shot on this guy? Sage Northcutt, I mean, that guy, listen, he's a young kid, and he was 2-1 now in there? He won 2 and he lost 1.
But by the way, those 3 fights were very close together. I mean, I think they all happened within 5 months.
And that kid, the sky's the limit for that kid.
Right.
And he's like, if you ever meet him, he's a
sweetheart.
Nicest kid you ever meet in the world, like Brady Bunch nice. You know what I mean? And he's got a ton of talent. This is a very hard game, and you can look at my career to take a note of that, where it's hard to stay undefeated. And you look at some of the best, you see some of the guys that are the best in the game, the best ever was, and look at their records, and a lot of times you'll be like, wow, this guy's one of the best. Look at his losses, and it's a different game than anything else because there's so many ways to win and lose that it's hard to just keep a guy on that win and keep getting wins. We're not in the UFC. You're not feeding anybody. You're fighting the best on the planet. So it is what it is. I'm Matt Serra. You're watching MMA Noise on Louder Noise TV.